Every year we revisit this topic and every year the story remains the same. Like Android processors are good, but Apple is better. This was the story last year, the year before that, the year before, you get the point. So statistically speaking, this year also, the result should be same, right? If only it was that simple. Because see here, this is the latest Snapdragon 8 Gen 3 phone which scores more than 20 lakhs in AnTuTu, which again is a popular benchmarking app. And the new Dimensity 9300 has 100 FPS in 3D Mark, the most scores I have ever seen on any phone. So has that day finally come? Has Android finally beaten iPhone? Well, I've been testing all the three processors for quite some time now and things are very interesting. Now, before we begin, I must mention two things. Number one, when other Android phones come out with 8 Gen 3, the processor will be tuned differently. So, the 8 Gen 3 performance over here might not be the exact same on other 8 Gen 3 phones like S24 or OnePlus 12. You get the point. Number two, Surfshark. A fair thing, we have been personally using Surfshark before they even approached us for this video. Now you're obviously being tracked anywhere that you browse or watch it on the internet. So getting a paid VPN makes sense, and importantly for two reasons. Number one, Surfshark VPN works on all websites seamlessly with good privacy, and you can even unlock content that are not available in India from other part of the world. Here's a good video for that. Number two, Surfshark VPN not only starts as low as 180 rupees per month, but you get unlimited device access, so you can share it with your friends and family. Now Surfshark VPN partnered with Team DW and you get an extra offer. If you enter the promo code TechVisor, you get an extra 6 months free at surfshark.deals/TechVisor, and there is also a 30 days money back guarantee, so there's no harm in trying. Try it out. Alright, so the most important thing when it comes to new processor is playing games. Now we played games like Genshin Impact, PUBG and all of that on all the phones, and all the phones on this table can handle those games pretty well, which is expected since these are flagship chips. That being said, Apple is kind of pushing the boundaries when it comes to gaming. With the A17 Pro, you can now play console level games. Like see here, we have the Resident Evil 7 running natively on the iPhone. Now yes, performance and graphics is not as good as a PS5, but the fact that it is running on a phone is a move in the right direction. Because if Apple does this, other manufacturers will bring their games to Android too. Like smartphone processors are so powerful now, you get ray tracing, etc, but there aren't good games to show that power. So we have to rely on the 3D Mark benchmarking app to see which is better at gaming. We ran this Solar Bay test on loop for 20 times and the results are pretty fascinating, because in gaming what matters more than FPS is stability. Like you want your game to give you a consistent FPS. 60 FPS all the time is better than a fluctuating 90 FPS. And in that regard, have a look at this. Dimensity 9300 has this highest 100 FPS score, but the stability is only 51%. See this graph? It went downhill. So in simple words, practically when you start playing a game on the Dimensity 9100, you will get good max 100 FPS. But the longer you play the game, the FPS will drop to 25-30 FPS. Snapdragon 8 Gen 3 here is better. It has a stability score of 59%, but the best one is the iPhone. It has a stability score of 69%. And see this graph, it is a straight line. And not just that, we ran the Geekbench GPU test and see the iPhone scores the highest, more than 80%. So if I were a gamer, I would pick the iPhone 15 Pro Max. Moving on from gaming performance to CPU, the biggest difference this time around comes from Dimensity 9300. So listen carefully and I'll try to keep this as simple as I can. So smartphone chips have three types of core, and for the sake of simplicity, let's just name them A, B, and C. A is the most powerful core for video editing, photo editing, etc. B has slightly less power for watching Netflix, 4K videos, etc. And then comes C, even lesser power for just texting, WhatsApp, etc. And every smartphone processor uses the combination of this A, B and C. Like the Snapdragon 8 Gen 3 has 1 of A, 5 of B and 2 of C, so total 8 cores. Same goes for A17 Pro. They have 2 of A and 4 of B, in total 6 cores. But now with the Dimensity 9300, MediaTek completely ignored C. It has total of 4 A cores and 4 B cores, so all power. So all of these are high performance core, which has one big positive impact. See, side by side with the Snapdragon 8 Gen 3 on AnTuTu, the 9300 has a higher CPU score. Even in Geekbench, the 9300 is better compared to 8 Gen 3. But here comes this twist. The same test on the Apple A17 Pro, see, A17 Pro is still slightly ahead. And you will be like, Pratik, how is this possible? iPhone has only 6 core and all of these have 8 cores. Well, this is because each core of A17 Pro has higher clock speed. See, the single core performance is around 30% faster. Hence, a 6-core iPhone 15 Pro Max beats the 8-core iQOO 12 and Vivo X100 in Geekbench. But now, all of this scores is in benchmark. what about real world? Can the iPhone still hold its lead? So to find that out, we did 2 video rendering tests. First, we have this 1-minute shots because a lot of people edit shots on their phone. We applied the same color grade on all the 3 in Adobe Rush and exported them. Interestingly, all the phones had similar performance, like could be margin of error but nothing big. So we thought of taking things up a notch. We did the same test, but this time we used a 10-minute long YouTube video to see how things goes. And here's where it is interesting. The 8 Gen 3 finished in 7 minutes 44 seconds, iPhone took 8 minutes 6 seconds, and the Dimensity 9300 took 9 minutes 42 seconds. And not just that, the most interesting thing here is heat. iPhone and Snapdragon 8 Gen 3 were slightly warm, but the Dimensity 9300 was pretty hot. Which brings me to thermals. Now, in normal day-to-day use, all the processors are fine. Of course, flagship performance. No overheating or anything, but if you push them, then you will notice that the Dimensity 9300 gets warm quickly. Like see in the 3D Mark test, it ran the hottest. Hence this FPS graph started high and then it kept going down, 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 down. And this is no surprise since all the cores here are high performance cores, and with high performance comes great heat. So brands using 9300 would need to put in extra efforts in cooling. Finally, let's talk about the battery. Now we'll do a real good practical experiment. I'll play this 1 hour long YouTube HDR video and we'll see which phone drains the battery most. Now after an hour, iQOO went down by 11%, Vivo by 9% and iPhone by 7%. So for a task like video or media consumption, I would say the battery drain on all these phones are pretty similar. The difference here is not that big. So in normal day-to-day usage, when you're not stretching your phone, the battery life should be similar. Now, we didn't do any camera test here because that mostly depends on camera sensor and the software optimization the brand is using. So, finally, what's the verdict here? Has Android finally beaten Apple? Almost, like very, very close this time. See, previously, Apple processors used to be 1 generation ahead of Android, but that is not the case. The 8 Gen 3 and the 9300 are good processor. They are fast and better than iPhone. That being said, when you do heavy tasks like video editing or gaming, Apple's processor is cooler and importantly, more stable. However, that could all change with the upcoming Galaxy S24 series, which will have a custom 8 Gen 3 chip. That would be very interesting comparison. We'll just have to wait and see how that pans out. So subscribe, and if you've already, stay subscribed, and I'll see you in the new one. Pew pew.